How many parasites are living in your mind, eating you alive and sucking the life out of you? We usually think of parasites as tapeworms and other nasty little critters living inside our bodies and making us sick and malnourished. But are you aware of the psychic parasites that are eager to invade our minds and steal our joy from us? These parasites are negative thoughts, and make no mistake, they will destroy us every bit as thoroughly as the ugliest little monsters living in our guts. And this is why it is so important to detoxify our mind and consciously choose our mindset and our perspective so that positive thinking becomes our default worldview. And yes, I know that positive thinking has become a bit of a buzzword, but please understand that what our mind dwells on, it expands. And what our mind's eye focuses on becomes the framework of our very identity. So maybe you've encountered people who are convinced that the entire world is evil and everybody's out to get them. And then you talk to somebody else that believes that everybody's good and altruistic. And you could say that neither viewpoint is realistic, but which one do you think is healthier? The reality is that negativity attracts negativity, and positivity attracts positivity. Speaking of what our eyes look upon, I just read an interesting statistic. There are over 600 deaths a year from people who are parked on the shoulder of the highway and get hit by a passing vehicle. The thinking is that the oncoming drivers actually see the vehicle parked and they focus on it as they approach, losing their orientation of where they are and actually unconsciously steer into what their eyes are set on. You recognize the danger of that? We will find and see in others and in situations what we are looking for, whether that is for good or ill, whether it's true or false. One of the key life skills that I've been working on is recognizing when negative thoughts come into my head and then consciously choosing to cast them out and redirect my thoughts on something that is good. Sometimes I've found myself lying in bed at night, remembering how I was treated unfairly, maybe even years ago, and wishing I had responded differently, or even imagining violent retribution, or fantasizing about things I wish I had that just don't belong to me. And instead of drifting off into a peaceful, calm sleep, I ended up tossing and turning with sweaty palms and discontent with ill feelings. And when this happens to me now, I immediately recognize it and I repudiate those thoughts. Maybe I'll say a quick prayer, or I'll consider all that I have to be grateful for. Now understand, negative thoughts are not necessarily evil or even untrue thoughts. They're just unprofitable thoughts that bring us down. So I encourage you to consider this concept. Cast the parasites out. Recognize the good in you, in others, in the world, and your community. Learn to recognize the thought patterns that lift you up and feed on them. Practice acknowledging what you appreciate and respect in others, and tell them. You will be amazed at the good things and the positivity that will be returned to you. And yes, this does take practice. Understand that positive thinking does not make you naive or gullible. It will not blind you to the dangers around you, but it will armor you against them. And it will help you thrive, and better yet, it can give you extra light to share with others. So be positive, be grateful, be healthy, carry on, live a full life.